Thank you very much. The member for Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm very happy to stand and rise in the House this afternoon to speak on an important issue, not just in my community of Davenport, but one that has resonated across the province. This bill before the House is one that does a lot to help Ontario workers and build our province up. And I want to remind members in the House here today and those watching that the Progressive Conservative Party had frozen minimum wage between 1996 and 2003 at $6.85, and that yesterday, October 1st, minimum wage rose. It went up. It is now at $11.60 an hour as of yesterday. So under this government, the minimum wage has increased by 70%. So I've been hearing concerns from my constituents on many of the issues that are in Bill 148 since I was elected in 2014. And since then, I've been speaking in caucus about many of the issues and many of the changes that the government is bringing forward in Bill 148. So in my riding of Davenport, I've been taking meetings to speak with constituents about their experiences and what fair work means to them. And I've met with organizations such as $15 in Fairness and the social justice group that meets at the Davenport Perth Neighbourhood Community Health Centre in my riding of Davenport. And I've been speaking in caucus about how we need to fight for sustainable scheduling practices, equal pay for equal work, and a fair and livable minimum wage of $15 per hour. With the cost of housing having risen dramatically, and especially in my riding of Davenport, and the cost of transit in Toronto continuing to rise, people who are making minimum wage in my community are struggling to get by and get ahead. Our plan to consistently increase the minimum wage by the rate of inflation has been better than the plan of the Conservatives and the NDP to play political games with the wages of our most vulnerable workers. But some fixed costs have been far outstripping inflation and leaving people in Davenport scrambling. That's why, for the past 3 years, I've been writing letters to the Minister of Labour, ask questions in Legislature about what we are doing and how we can do more to ensure that all Ontarians can share in our economic prosperity. That's why I was so glad when our government listened to people across the province and introduced legislation last session to create more opportunity and security for workers through a fair workplace and better jobs. I was also glad to have been part of the committee that travelled across the province to listen to approximately 190 presentations from members of the public, businesses, labour organizations and advocacy groups about our plan. And one of the things, Mr. Speaker, that we learned over the summer is that the changes we are making, like raising the minimum wage, aren't impossible for businesses across Ontario. Over the summer, we have heard from businesses, both large and small, across this province, who have found ways to pay their employees a fair and livable wage. When we were on the road, we heard about the Social Planning Council in Sudbury that is paying $16 an hour. We heard about Muskoka Brewery in Bracebridge that's paying a living wage. And I'm going to remind the member opposite that in Muskoka, the living wage is $15.84. So how much longer does he want his constituents to struggle for? The success stories that paying people a living wage, the fact of the matter is that if business owners value their workers' time, they seem to be able to make their businesses viable. So, Mr. Speaker, I know I have to leave some time for the Honourable Minister to speak, but I do want to just say that raising the minimum wage to $15 per hour is essential to ensuring that people in my riding of Davenport and across our province are not just scraping by, but have the opportunity to get ahead, build careers, and to start and support families. So I encourage everyone in this chamber, everyone in this House to vote for this very progressive bill. Thank you very much.